Glory to God. Okay, tonight, welcome everyone once again to yet another explosive edition of our online seminar, Career at the AMP here. I'm trusting God tonight that you will have the best of time. I'd like you to, settle down, get your pen, get your journals together as we begin to explore a topic tonight, which I've captioned Making Ideas Happen, Overcoming Obstacles Between Vision and Reality. And I trust God tonight because this is one major concern many of us have, and why there are too many ideas, and why we never see those ideas become, come into fruition, as it were. So tonight I'll be exploring this together. I'd like you to settle down and get set because something is about to happen to you tonight. So tonight we'll be exploring the topic Making Ideas Happen. Making ideas happen, overcoming obstacles between vision and reality. Many ideas don't happen. So the question is why? We have so many great ideas, but most have never seen the light of the day. So why do most ideas never happen? The reason is that our own creative habits get in the way. For example, our tendency to generate new ideas often gets in the way of executing the ones we have. So as a result, we abandon many projects halfway through, many, ambition or many desire to create a personal website, a new business idea, a new novel or something. Most of these projects stagnate and become a source of frustration. But by way of introduction tonight, I'd like to say it was Thomas Edison that said, genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. And what is he saying here? What he's saying is that more often than not, it's not about the idea, but much more what you do with the idea. So what he's saying to you and I is success is all about execution. At the AMP here, we say it is what you don't start that will not grow. And that the room you create is what God fills. So another new idea, and yet no action. So everybody has an idea. Many are full of ideas. But why do these ideas never happen? So the question here tonight is, what must I do to make this idea happen? Now, in the beginning, you and I, we are entities of ideas. God loads you and I with, the capacity to generate ideas, to catch inspirations from a number of things happening all around us, inside of us, all around us. So initially, there's the flow of ideas. It comes with a flow of energy. There's excitement all around us. It consumes our thought process. We dream about it in the daytime, in the nighttime. A number of us start documenting them. We research into these ideas. We start making plans, as it were. Our thought process is consumed by those ideas. Everything, over time, guess what happens? Everything begins to evaporate. Energy begins to go down. Distractions begins to set in. Especially these days, we have a lot of technology, apps, and all of these things that take our mind off the critical things of life. I've often said about majors and minors. This is where this becomes very critical. And this is the reason why there are many abandoned projects and business, ideas all over the place. But tonight we'll be exploring a number of things why ideas never get started. Number one is inability to overcome what I call reactionary workflow. That means, the many distractions like I described earlier. Our phone, the apps, the news, all kind of things keep taking, keep bugging our mind, keep distracting us from the critical things of life. Lack of accountability. Now your ideas has come to you, for example, but who hold you accountable for not implementing those ideas? Lack of organization, for example. How do you organize the thoughts you have into, workable steps? Lack of community effect. You and I should belong to certain, groups or associations that will help us and inspire us to take steps, like we do here at the AMP. And of course, lack of leadership capability. Many of us can't lead ourselves into actions. That's internal, leadership that makes you take responsibility for your life. that want to see you do things, execute things, and get results out of engagement on a daily basis. All of these are the reason why ideas never get started. Somebody said, oh, people might steal my idea. Oh, I'm still working on the idea. Oh, it is not fully baked. All kind of excuses. That's what somebody said on, every time you make excuses, you're actually telling yourself that you are a failure. So the key to all of this is to recognize that for those ideas to get started, you must overcome what I call reactionary flow. You must be accountable. You must learn to organize. You must leverage on the power of community. And of course, you must develop what I call leadership capability. Number one is our inability to overcome what I call reactionary workflow. That means the many distractions that gets in the way of taking steps. Lack of accountability. That means, among other things, who are you accountable to if those ideas never happen? Lack of organization. That means the capacity, the skill required to organize your thoughts into steps, into action, actionable steps. Number four, lack of community effect, like we do at the AMP here. Leveraging on the power of community that will inspire you to the level of greatness and take steps. And of course, lack of leadership capability. That means that inner drive, that self-drive, that self-motivation that will ginger you and trigger those steps and make you act on those ideas that is running through your vein and running through your system. Somebody has said, oh, people might steal those ideas, so I'm keeping them. Somebody said, oh, the ideas are not fully baked yet. I'm still working on them. Now, all kind of excuses. But somebody said, and I believe, that you are not a failure until you have someone to blame. You are not a failure until you have excuses on why you don't take steps. So it's important for you tonight to recognize that the capacity to be able to overcome distractions, that capacity to be able to be, to be accountable, to recognize the place of accountability, to organize your thought process, to leverage on community, the force of community, and then have what I call leadership capability are key to getting this idea started. Now, how do I push those ideas to completion, you may ask? Now, in the book, Making Ideas Happen, written by Scott Betsky, it summarizes as follows. Number one, it says creative ideas plus organization and execution plus communal effect or communal force plus leadership capability is what results in pushing an idea into completion. What he's saying here is that creativity, that's talking about the ideas, and organization is what generates impact that make you take steps to push this idea. Little by little, small wins here, and then become big wins. In fact, it's emphasized that organization is a major force to make ideas happen. Now, and in exploring all of these, there are triggers, or what I call internal force, that make you and I take action. Number one is a personal goal. Many of us are consumed by a personal goal to become something in life. And so those inner, this personal drive triggers steps. It forces you to take steps because you don't want to amount to something in life. Number two is your association. Who you follow, determine what follows you. The company you keep, determine what accompanies you. So that's why you have to be careful who you associate with. There are certain people who are just killers of destiny. There are many people that you encounter and all they let you realize is that things are not working. And then over time you believe so, and then you become so. Number three, the power of community. Here it talks about the kind of groups you belong to, association you belong to. Like I said earlier, at the AMP here, our motto or our slogan is inspiring you to a new level of greatness. We want you to become better than we met you. We want you to be inspired to take steps to become who God says you should be and begin to explore those, those endowments inside of you and release them because the world is waiting for them. Number 4, triggers or internal force that make you act at the time and seasons of your life. Life is in phases. There's certain things that there's certain time of life that you get into and you just know that, hey, something has to happen for me. You have waited long enough. It's time to take steps. You have gone around this mountain long enough. This season, you must catch in this season. There are times when we are young. There are times when we become adults. There are times when we become, middle age. There are seasons of life. And some of these seasons, when we reflect on our time and seasons, it triggers us to take steps. And of course, the last one, number 5, is competition. Now, competition in itself is not exactly, the issue here. It is the fact that competition has the capacity to make us feel we can also do it. Somebody has done something, oh, I can do that as well. If I can do it, then I can do it. And this is where the power of, biographies and all of these things that we read comes into play, where we are triggered. Our actions are triggered by someone who has done something, and we can wish to do exactly the same thing and much more. Let me share with you a 5-step approach to making ideas happen. Number 1, share it. No, somebody may say, hey, share idea. Somebody will steal it. I'm not talking about sharing your idea on Facebook or Twitter or anything of that nature. I'm talking about sharing your idea with a real person in a real life conversation. That's one of the best ways to make your idea happen. Because what you are doing there, you are then forced to do things and you win a third as a result. What does that mean? You are forced because you have want to be accountable. Now imagine you get an idea, for example, now, and you share with someone who you believe in, someone who has results to show for his life. Well, guess what happens? You become accountable because next time the person see you, how about that idea you spoke to me about? And then because of the fact that you know that each time you meet that person, it will ask for those things, it forces you to take steps. Number 2, pierce it. Talking about looking at the research. Study. I always say, if you want anything in life that is worth, becoming, study it. You want to become wealthy? Study wealth. You want to become successful in business? Study businesses. Read the research. Read wide. Pierce it. Step 3, plan it. This is where organization comes into play, where you begin to, learn the art of organizing your thought process into actionable steps. Number 4, step out. As a matter of fact, what you're looking for. After you've planned it, after you've thought through it, you need to step out. This is that stepping out. That means consulting, making those phone calls, reading those articles, and then making, visiting, checking those things out. As you go out in town, you are looking and you are searching, and then you are, trying to observe how things have been done, and you're asking the right questions. And of course, number 5 is reviewing and continuing to take action, because like I said earlier, execution. It's what is required to make these ideas happen. So someone is asking himself or herself tonight, what should I do? Number 1, commit to relentless pursuit of actions. Develop a culture of actions. Prioritize projects visually. Now begin to, this is where sometimes you need to get your picture, a picture of what you want to become, a picture of, the end game in mind. Put the picture somewhere. Design those things. Get someone to design a flyer for you on your product or your service. Even when you're not started, just keep looking at it. It's pouring into action. Visually, you can say this is low, medium action to take, medium action, low action to take, medium action, high action to take. Categorize all your actions into low, medium, and high. Then begin to work on those ideas. You must fight apathy. Let me announce here, you must fight complacency and apathy. Anytime you're not acting on those ideas, reflect on those things and begin to take steps. Get engaged. Self-motivate yourself. Get a mental or visual image of the end game in mind. Put it somewhere you can see. Learn to overcome rejection. And let me say here, rejection is part of the game. As a matter of fact, no doesn't mean that it won't happen. What no means is that perhaps the time for the idea has not come. Because there's nothing as powerful as an idea whose time has come. Then, of course, don't become burdened by consensus. A lot of people will say, oh, it won't work, it won't work. Never believe them. If you are so inspired by that idea, recognize that it came to you because God wants to release that idea through you. In conclusion tonight, idea is all about execution. Idea is all about execution. Somebody said, and I believe, it is extraordinary action that makes ordinary things become great. It is extraordinary action that makes ordinary things great. So that idea may be ordinary, but when you put in extraordinary steps or actions, it becomes great. The Bible said, see a man that is diligent in his business, he will stand before kings and men. Remember, you are on earth for a purpose. What will be your legacy is a question you should be asking yourself. You and I are loaded to be fruitful, to multiply, and to replenish the earth. Remember, Jesus said, among other things, we are the salt of the earth. That means there's something in you and I that needs to preserve the world. It's an idea that the world is waiting for. So we're the light of the world. You let your light so shine that men may see your good work. This should inspire you to take steps. So I always recognize the fact that the world is waiting for you and I. But my word tonight is congratulations in advance, because you will make it. That idea planted in you will happen. I pray tonight that you receive grace to take action tonight. You will succeed. You will make it. And God's name shall be glorified. That idea in you will see the light of the day, and God's name shall be glorified. God bless you tonight, and have a great time tonight.